everybody, back with you on the Monday Kickoff podcast, broadcasting live from the basement, late night edition, basement edition. Hope you don't mind the mess behind me, but we are here with a lot to talk about from this past weekend as we start to transition finally out of that winter indoor season and back into the outdoor soccer season out here in Brooklyn. We will have both Madison Pickett, our youth DOC, and Jorge Carrasco, our men's head coach, youth technical director, with you joining the podcast with their updates. But first, as usual, I'm just going to hit some highlights from around the soccer football world. It was an FA Cup weekend out in England, so no Premier League. Nothing too crazy to report on except one notable result, which is Port Vale from the bottom of the table in League One, which is the third tier in England, getting the result over Sunderland, getting the win to advance over Sunderland, who's in the top half of the Premier League, or they were recently anyway. So it's a huge result for Port Vale, and just love seeing those lower league teams getting a chance to compete. And if you get one match, you never know what can happen, and they deserve that opportunity, and they took that opportunity. And again, we just love to see those lower, smaller community-driven clubs and teams that feel a little bit more relatable to smaller clubs such as ourselves. So big shout out to Port Vale. Congrats to them. Back here in the U.S., NYCFC hung up a nickel against Orlando, who's having a really tough start in the MLS season. Orlando is. But great stuff by NYCFC in their home match. And the Red Bulls fell 3-0 to Montreal. So after a great start for the Red Bulls' first two matches, a bit of a bringing them back down to earth with that result, which I believe was an away match. And then looking into the women's side, Pro League not quite starting yet with the NWSL, but the She Believes Cup is in full swing, which is a fantastic international tournament we have been to many times. The U.S. women's national team did get the 1-0 result over Colombia, played out here in Harrison, New Jersey. So that's a lot of fun to go see that game. And then on the USL Super League side, Brooklyn FC unfortunately fell their first home match of this calendar year on Saturday. They fell 2-0 to DC Power. So unfortunate result for them. Happy to be out there supporting the team, our partners here in Brooklyn, and look forward to the next home match that we can get out to. And then the men, which is a huge news of the weekend, first ever Brooklyn FC men's match in the club history, pulled out the 1-0 victory over Indy 11 in the USL Championship. The goal was scored by Brooklyn's own Juan Obregon. Never get tired telling this story. We love the tie-in with Juan indirectly with our own club, Brooklyn City FC, as his sister, Brianna Obregon, played for us for many years on the youth side, and then did play for us for our WPSL team a few years ago in the summer. So happy to know the Obregon family very well. So happy to see Juan come back to Brooklyn, which I'm sure was a dream come true, and score the first goal in club history on the men's side. And it's worth spending a moment just to touch on that entire experience. So it's a really special day for Brooklyn Pro Soccer on the men's side especially. We were able to mobilize a few age groups, but a lot of people from Brooklyn City FC to be a part of that special match. And it's not only supporting the team, but really being a part of it and being out there in person, outside, experiencing the energy, and something that, hopefully can be sustained. We will definitely do our part to keep building, work together with our partner, Brooklyn FC, to make it continue to build and grow on both the women's and the men's side. So that's the recap from around soccer world. At this point, hand it over to Jorge to touch on what went on the men's side. It's our first match of the calendar year back outdoors, so we were really excited to be back out at Red Hook this past weekend. And Jorge, why don't you take it from here?
Thank you, Jesse. This weekend was action for all three teams. All of our men's teams were able to play. Finally, the sun's out. First day of spring, or feels like spring, if you will, during March. So we were able to be out there. First team, second team, and third team. We'll start off with the second team. We'll have the first game in the morning, a 2-2 tie. Started off the game very well, connecting, sequence of passes, dominating possession, even up 2-0 within the first 15 minutes, I believe. Unfortunately, a couple of mistakes, the mindset of the game, the 90-minute length of the game came against us, which we ended up tying 2-2, but I feel, and most of the guys feel, that we lost valuable points, 2 points on that. However, so we continue to work. I think one of the biggest factors that we need to fix with this group is just the finishing. We're able to finish our chances. It doesn't matter how many we get scored on, to an extent. But yeah, I think that's the one issue to solve within that group. Unfortunately, our first team, 3 points, forfeit. Other team wasn't able to present themselves. I think this is usually happening once we start to get outdoors. But other than that, I mean, it sets the table for us to just control the entirety of the season. So it lays on our hands. Our third group, an unfortunate loss last evening. We continue to drop points with this group, and I continue to repeat, new group, new season for them. It's taking a little longer for us to adjust to that, but I think all in all, if we put all three teams together, I think we're where we want to be at this point of the season, because the focus is promotion. And I believe that's where we're at. We're both the first team and our second team, which is the reserves. Hopefully our third team starts to pick things up. But back to you, Jesse. This was a recap on the men's.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jorge. Yeah, it was great to have the men back outdoors and good to start to get some results. Unfortunate with the issue with one team showing up or not having enough to play. But that's... from time to time, this amateur soccer here in New York City, so we deal with it, roll the punches, and keep going. So from here, we will transition over to the youth side, where Madison Pickett's going to give us a recap of all the stuff happening across Brooklyn, across the Tri-State, on the youth side of the club. Take it away, Maddie.
Hey, BCFC, back again with an update from our youth teams this past weekend. It was great to get a handful of teams outdoors. Unfortunately, we did have some teams not able to compete this weekend outdoors due to some cancellations and tournaments and things like that. But overall, just to give you a quick recap, we had our G11s, our G12-13s, and our B12 Bridge Academy groups scrimmage dusk this past weekend. So thank you, Dusk, for coming out and helping us get those games in. Each team were able to get full minutes in every single game. So we had 80-minute game. We had we're able to extend one of our teams and play 45-minute halves, which is great. So it's nice to get them outside playing in those formats. Results didn't go our way, but I think overall the competition level was for the most part spot on. So really good stuff there, and it's nice to get them outside. Over out in New Jersey, we had our B09s, our B10s, and our B11s. All three teams had games this weekend, all performed well. Actually, a big shout out to our B09s. They placed second in the tournament. Really close to the final, just kind of fell short with last minute efforts. So went down in the final 3-1. B10s and B11s, they both had great showings. Both ended up in third place within their brackets, within the groups. Overall, they're really starting to understand the style of possession and their movements off the ball. Now we just need to kind of get those last couple pieces to make it more consistent. But overall, great weekend for the groups. And it's nice to have them outside leading into the spring season that's coming up next week. So thanks.
All right. Thank you, Maddie. And as we look ahead, we're going to be continuing to transition youth teams outdoors, whether it be friendlies. We do have a few state cup games coming up on the boys side this upcoming weekend. We will have some teams still competing, some younger teams. Small side is still competing indoors where that makes more sense. And then the slow club migration outdoors with training, which will happen after next weekend. And then we will also start to see our women's teams start to see some action outdoors. I believe they will be playing a friendly this upcoming weekend, so we'll hit that hit our weekend preview with more details about the women's friendly. And we do have a women's ID session for any players looking to connect with our club about our WPSL or the WPSL Division II teams, or even want to be considered for our pro partner Brooklyn FC, you can come check out our women's ID session this Saturday at 12:30. Details are on our social media on Instagram. And the men's team in Cosmopolitan Soccer League action this upcoming weekend as well. I believe we have away matches for the first and second team and a home match for the third team. So more details on that again will come out on the Friday weekend preview. And that pretty much wraps things up. So have a great night. Have a great week. Enjoy this warmer weather. It's been inspiring for all of us. And we will see you at the end of the week with the weekend preview. Take care.